okay, listen, I was going to set up like my tripod. I was going to set up my whiteboard that I just bought. I was going to set up all this stuff, record a video on this. And I was like, you know what, I'm not going to wait because this is getting way too fucking intense. You guys can probably tell I'm mad about something. It's in the video title, fuck Sony. Let me backtrack here for those of you who don't know what's been going on, and I apologize if I'm not looking at the camera. I know the camera's here, it's just that I'm trying to stare at the phone and make sure nothing stupid's in the angle. Not there's anything stupid. I'm in my new apartment right now, things are a mess, but the biggest thing is that why the fuck did Sony retract the rights from Marvel Studios? For those of you who weren't aware of the sharing arrangement, I'm gonna put the phone down here. For those of you who weren't aware, let me just put it right there. Sony and Marvel Studios, they made this deal in early 2015, some would argue late 2014, to share the Spider-Man character. The Spider-Man IP has been a part of Sony for forever, since Marvel decided to license off movie distribution rights at the beginning of time, when they want to start making these films. That's why X-Men in 2000 came out. That's why Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out. That's why the live-action Hulk series happened, I think. That's why, no, the 2003 Hulk movie, I apologize, where he was fighting the dogs, things like that. So, like, they made this deal because Marvel Studios was doing really well. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 just bombed at the box office in a really bad way. And, Sony was looking for a way to improve the franchise, to improve the character. So they finally signed on, reluctantly from everything that I've been hearing, with Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. And so essentially the way, from what I understand, the sharing arrangement works is that Marvel Studios had the ability to use the Spider-Man character in any of their movies, and just to use, to be able to use them in the events. That's why we got them in Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, things like that. Outstanding. And then Sony can still continue to make their solo movies, but they would be produced by Marvel Studios. Marvel made these movies. Now, of course, everybody was hired by Sony and things like that, and the details of that gets very confusing, so forgive me if I'm wrong about a couple things. But the point is, Marvel Studios produced these movies. They produced them, but they did not make a dime off of these movies. Sony made every single penny from the box office of Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. If you guys have seen, Spider-Man Far From Home has made Spider-Man into a $1 billion franchise. A $1 billion franchise. Without Marvel Studios, Sony would not have had a successful Spider-Man. I think I'm looking at the camera now. A successful Spider-Man franchise on their hands to that caliber. Amazing Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, great Spider people. I love those movies. I watched them. I was excited for them. But he's in the MCU now. You cannot take that back. I don't care what reason it is. Figure it out. Some people are putting blame on Disney. Some people are putting blame on Marvel. Just for those of you who don't know, this all ended yesterday, and then Sony confirmed it this morning. Essentially, what happened is Marvel wanted to make some money off of this. Marvel Studios, under the leadership of Disney, wants I believe 45-55 split or 50-50 split, whatever. And I'm perfectly fine with that. I think that that's a wise business decision. You look at, like, there was a really cool analogy I saw on Twitter. It's like asking someone to build a house for you that you can then sell to somebody else, make 100% of the profit. I'm not considering taxes and all that and all the other stuff. But then the builder, the people responsible for putting that house up in the first place, don't get any money out of that deal. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You can't make all this money and then expect. And not only that, but you're putting manpower and time into this. Kevin Feige did not make a dime off of these movies, but overseed every aspect of Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. So all they wanted was at least a 45% stake, and then Sony's like, no, listen, this is our IP, our property, we're not giving you a single dime. And then I think they conceded, gave them something, and then Marvel said, no, that's too low. I don't know what that percentage was, but it clearly wasn't close to 45. Otherwise, I would imagine they would say yes. Whether there's blame on Disney's part for being too greedy or blame on Sony's part for being too cheap, there are issues with this line of thinking on Sony's side, because even if you're giving up that 50-55%, you're still making way more than, say, the highest grossing Spider-Man movie that you've produced before Spider-Man Far From Home and Homecoming, of course, because Far From Home has been your first $1 billion franchise. Sony has never had a $1 billion franchise. So once again, that was just a recap. quick recap for those of you who aren't aware of the situation. Sony canceled this deal recently, and they've made a public statement. Disney, as of recording this video right now, has not made a public statement. This is what, the 21st of August here in 2019 at 3:50 p.m. So they have not made a statement about this deal yet. Kevin Feige hasn't said anything. Multiple actors have come out, multiple outlets have come out and expressed their concern and showed that nobody wants a solo Spider-Man spin-off series anymore. Nobody wants a solo Spider-Man series anymore. He's in the MCU. Leave him in the MCU. We just rebooted him 3 times in the past decade alone. Why are we should not reboot him. That should not happen. If I see that they're not getting any of my money. And 2, it seems like they are keeping Tom Holland and they are keeping the cast and the writers and everybody because Sony hires them. But the movies, unfortunately, are not going to be Marvel Studios connected movies, if that makes sense. So from what I'm gathering, they're not going to mention anything about what's going on in the MCU, and this completely messes up the story that they've been telling Spider-Man in these movies. Think what you want about it, but creatively he has been set up to be the next Iron Man, the next high-level Avenger, the next person, the next hero that's going to lead the future of the MCU now that Tony's dead. That was what Far From Home was all about, and clearly it made a lot of money, so they were doing it right. You know, some people have their issues with it, and I respect that. It's great to have different opinions, but listen, they're moving in a direction with the character where they've already established this creatively, and now Marvel Studios can't even mention the character Spider-Man if nothing gets fixed by their next film. And this is a problem in their next crossover event. We're Spider-Man. And then in the Sonyverse, well, they can't reference what's going on with the Skrull, Secret Wars, whatever else Marvel Studios is planning on doing. All these other new heroes they're introducing, like the Eternals and Shang-Chi and things like that. So here's the big deal. Sony, get your shit together. I don't know if you're a Sony rep watching this. Listen, like, you can judge me for swearing like crazy in this video or making this video in my shitty ass apartment here at Purdue right now, when I probably should be doing homework, but I wanted to put this up as quick as possible. That's why I'm not caring about the lighting. I'm not caring about where I am. I'm not caring about the professionalism, the swearing, the censor, the tripod, a good camera, anything like that, because I want to put this video up. I want to share my opinion. I encourage everybody else to do the same. We need to get this hashtag trending, Save Spider-Man, also Spider-Man Far From the MCU, and hashtag boycott Sony Pictures Spider-Man, or whatever the hashtags were. We need to get all these trending, and we need to share this video along with many other videos of everybody else criticizing this deal right now, because Sony, I'm sorry, you guys fucked up. Your stock's already plummeting. Last time I checked, it might have went up a tiny bit, but you know, your statement is absolutely abysmal. Like, what you guys think you're doing is not going to work, because many people, including myself, a hardcore Spider-Man fan, I'm someone that I'll buy like fucking Spider-Man toothpaste if you put it out, which you've already put it out. I probably bought that. I will buy anything with the Spider-Man label on it. But at the end of the day, if you're removing Spider-Man from the MCU, I'm not watching a single one of your properties. I don't care how good they look or how invested I get in their trailers. I'm going to pirate it and watch it. And hey, if net neutrality stuff happens, and I think it already did, if all that stuff messes up and I can't access pirated websites, can't watch this movie, I don't care. Part of me may want to watch it, but I will purposely force myself and make sure people hold me accountable to not watch it. And you know who will hold me accountable? The millions and billions of people that you're throwing away from this new franchise you're building. Even if it's the same actor, same writers, if it's not taking place within the MCU, if it's not referencing MCU events, and if Spider-Man can't show up in these other movies, then you guys have taken the L in so many different ways. I don't care what people think about this version of Spider-Man versus the old versions of Spider-Man. This is the definitive Spider-Man that we have and that we need for at least the next 20 years. All right? At least the next 20 years. He's too young right now. You guys have set up an outstanding opportunity, and y'all need to have a talk with Disney and fix this right now, because there's so many people that are completely angry. There's a reason that these hashtags are trending higher than what's going on in Israel or what's going on with Trump's presidency right now in the U.S. and all the issues that are going on right now. There's a reason that this is trending so high, and that's because y'all fucking up. Y'all need to fix this deal. I'm sorry I'm saying y'all. I came from Texas this past summer, so I'm using y'all in literally every sense. So y'all need to fix this, all right? I don't want to bash you guys, but because you guys have produced some good quality stuff in the past. Obviously, your PlayStation division is doing really well, which is why I'm not going to boycott any of your you say Spider-Man PS5 or whatever else you guys have coming. But Y'all need to understand that at the end of the day, your fans, even the casual fans, are what drive you, what drive the income that you're getting. If you're not pleasing the fans, you are not going to do well. And guess what? There's plenty of casual fans, casual people I've come across here at Purdue here today when I was going to my classes and stuff earlier. Plenty of people I passed, talking about this whole Spider-Man deal. And a lot of people are not seeing these movies anymore. So y'all need to get your shit together. You're going to make the least grossing Spider-Man movie, even if it has Tom Holland in it in 2021. Y'all going to fuck up really bad. So fix this right now. I hope this gets to a Sony rep, someone high up. If you have questions, feel free to contact. I hate to roast you guys, but once again, this is something that needs to be fixed. I speak on behalf of the entire fan base, even those that don't like Tom Holland's version of the MCU Spider-Man. Guess what? Let's at least let's have this guy have his run for at least 20 years. For those that do, for the majority that do love the Spider-Man character, let's have Tom Holland enjoy his time playing the character with all these other actors and actresses, and give him the proper send-off that Tobey never got, that Andrew never got. Tobey arguably probably got somewhat of a good send-off, but let him have his final few movies. Let's do the Sinister Six. Let's bring Venom over. Let's bring all these characters over, and let's do it right within the MCU where it belongs. I just don't understand why we can't do, like, I was telling someone about this earlier, like, hey, there's this idea where, why can't it be like in the comics where you have so many different runs of the character happening at the same time? You had Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man, all these different incarnations of Spider-Man happening at the same time. Why can't we have that? Why can't you just let Marvel do whatever they want with the MCU version of Spider-Man, and then you guys make your own version of Spider-Man? I don't know how licensing and rights and all that work, but I just see that as a win-win profit-wise for you guys. You guys can have two on-screen Spider-Man, is fine. You guys made Spider-Verse and everybody loved it, and it's an Elseworld story. Why don't you guys do that with another actor, another Spider-Man, tell the stories you want to tell, but at the same time give Disney access to all these characters to do what they want with them, and people will go see both because they're excited to see different interpretations of a character. We're excited to see quality content. And as long as you guys keep producing quality content, that's all we care about. We want the MCU. We want Elseworld story. It doesn't have to be one or the other. We can have both. And I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to stop this right now. I got some homework to do. I'm going to try to get this uploaded right now as we stand. But guys, thank you guys so much for your time, for watching. Let me know what you guys think. I would love to make more impromptu videos like this. This is the most heated I've been in a while because, it's my first week of class, and I don't want to be stressed out by this. There's so much going on in the world right now. I don't need to be stressed out about a freaking superhero movie deal. I'm someone that I like to keep that side separate. I'm a huge fan, but I love to keep that side of life separate because that's what we all go watch, and we want to zone out from all the crazy stuff happening out there in the world. If you and Disney can't come to an arrangement, you guys are removing a huge viewer base. That's probably going to be the result of the collapse of Sony Pictures. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for your time. Like, comment, subscribe, check out some of my other content. This isn't what my channel primarily focuses around, but feel free to check all that out. I'll put some of that stuff up on screen here. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. Have a beautiful day, night, wherever you are and whenever I upload this. Peace out.